Hello, and welcome to this month's The Story of Flavor with Zach at the Gloucester Main Library, where spring may finally be in the air. We hope you're having a hoppy day. Yes, I'm going to try and throw in as many hoppies as I can. So let's begin right meow. Today's recipe is going to be Hassenpfeffer stew. No, I'm just kidding. That would be wrong on so many levels. Ask your parents what that is, kids. They'll tell you. Instead, we're going to cover a great breakfast option for you and your family to make on the weekends, ahead of time for your work or school week, or as a great Easter breakfast. Before we hop into it, let's look at some library cookbooks. The first one this month I have for you is The Taste of Home Copycat Favorites. This book is awesome. It provides knockoff recipes from some of your favorite restaurants and fast food joints, including KFC, Cheesecake Factory, Red Lobster, Olive Garden, and Chipotle. A few of my personal favorite picks from this book include mini mac and cheese bites based on an Outback Steakhouse recipe, Olive Garden inspired mozzarella sticks, which are actually a healthy alternative to traditional mozzarella sticks, as these are baked. I've made a version of this in the past, and they'll kick you in the mouth good. There's also a Hoppycat KFC fried chicken recipe, with my only recommendation being to try adding in mustard powder and some white pepper, which are two spices the book does not include, but I believe are believed to be in the Colonel's super secret squirrel recipe. And last, another Olive Garden favorite, fried lasagna. As for today's recipe, it comes straight from the land of ooh, and is from the Adventure Time, the official cookbook. This cookbook covers a breadth of great Adventure Time recipes. My two picks are the page 83 bug milk. No actual bugs are harmed in the making of this milk, so simmer down, PETA. No need to get all hopping mad. And today's recipe on lucky page 13, sausage breakfast party pizza, and per Finn from Adventure Time. If to party is to live, then to eat pizza is to breathe. Finally, remember, if you mess up making this recipe, that's okay. Everything's fixable. Side note, many people unfairly hate on peeps. How could you? They're cute, delicious, and an Easter classic. So we'll include some peep facts today in this episode for my peepsters. One of those facts is that peeps originally took 27 hours to make. With modern innovation, it now only takes 6 minutes to make a peep and 6 seconds to eat it. So peep that, haters. Now for our pre-recipe joke. Why did the chick go to the party? They wanted to see their peeps. And now we're getting ready to hop into our recipe. So we've got our two ovens over here, preheating to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Today, due to time constraints, we are going to cheat and use pre-made pizza dough. I'm going to add a teaspoon of olive oil, some Italian seasoning, and some everything bagel seasoning into the dough here. I'm also leaving out the green onion from this recipe. It's a personal thing. I'm just not a fan of the texture of onions. Riddle me this. How many Easter eggs can you fit in an empty basket? Time's up. Only one. After that, it's not empty anymore. In fact, Americans love pizza so much, we eat about 100 acres of pizza every day, according to the National Pizza Association of Hopperators. That's a hopping 350 slices every second. So, do our best to get our dough out of the package here. And we're going to put this into a floured bowl so it doesn't stick. I know all the people from traditional Italian families are probably cursing me now that you don't use pre-made pizza dough. I'm sorry. All right, get our dough in there. Our little bit of olive oil here, just a little bit. In fact, I'm not even going to use quite a whole teaspoon. Being on this show, I don't usually measure a whole lot unless I have to, so I'm just going to add some in here, and then just boom, boom, boom. Some everything bagel seasoning. And now we're going to knead our dough together so we can get that incorporated throughout our dough. And yes, this is not a correct or traditional kneading method. I'm just trying to mix it. Some more of our flour here to keep it from sticking. All right. So that's dough number one ready here. Now dough number two. Hopefully this one goes as easy as the first one did. Like trying to wrestle that thing that came out of people's chest in Alien. Don't watch that movie, kids. Not till you're old. A little bit of olive oil again. And then back to our seasonings one more time. And this is a step they actually call for when you're making the dough, but since we're not making it from scratch, that's why I'm doing it this way this time. Doing it from the start will actually get those spices and everything throughout the dough a little bit better. All right, so we've got our dough ready here. Now to have our dough oiled and spiced throughout, I'm going to roll these out. Well, actually, not roll them out. I'm going to press them out and stretch them out into these pans here. Now that we have our oil and dough and spices all mixed together, we're going to let that sit for a few minutes to warm up. While that warms up, what I'm going to do is go ahead and cut this sausage open. Now, there's two reasons I'm wearing gloves today. One was for the dough because it is so sticky, and also because we're going to be handling raw meat. And so I don't want any type of cross-contamination or anything like that. So I'm going to flip our sausages out here. Now this is a 12-ounce package of sausage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut our sausages long ways here. So that way we get a little bit more on our pizza. Come back through and just score it a second time just to make sure we got all the way through there. And kids, remember, have your parents help when you're doing this. We want to prevent any injuries. Just always make sure you know where your fingers are when you're cutting. Now, it doesn't look the prettiest right now. I know that. However, once it cooks, it's going to be nice golden brown sausage. You can use a variety of different types of sausage on this recipe. You can use the stuff that comes in a roll, so you can crumble it up on top. You can use patties, maybe dice those up, whatever works for you. So we're going to set this off to the side here and wait just a few minutes for our dough to finish warming up. While I do that, I got a couple jokes and facts for you. Adventure Time was famously rejected by Nickelodeon 2 times before being picked up by Cartoon Network. Also, the Easter lily is the official symbol of Easter and represents resurrection. So now we've let our dough rest for a little bit, and Uncle Barbecue over here forgot his rolling pin. So remember what I said, kids, if you mess something up, everything's fixable. What I had to use was the bottom of my stainless steel bowl. That's why I looked over off to the side to actually help make the pizza dough here. And I was able to get it, once it warmed up and using that, I was able to get it nice and fairly pizza shape. We're also going to call this artisanal pizza because it's not quite a round shape. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and sauce our pizza. We've got a half a cup of sauce here. I'm going to pour that on top. And then just spread our sauce around. I know there's somebody's Nona out there probably cursing me. That's why you make homemade pizza dough. Yes, I know. I'm sorry again. So we've got that dough sauced. Now we're going to cover this with some mozzarella, or as they say on some of the cooking shows, mozzarella. And that is because of a dialect preference among chefs. It follows a tradition of dropping the final vowels in words from the Campania region of Italy where mozzarella or mozzarella originated. So we got our cheese on here. And again, I'm not measuring the cheese because everybody likes cheese. And then on top of that, we're going to go ahead and throw our sausage on top. And I'll go wash my hands after we do this section of it, but it's okay for right now. Because after I touch the sausage, I'm not going to be messing with anything else, so we don't have to worry about cross-contamination that way. And so with our 6-ounce package of sausage here, it's going to give us a nice big chunk of sausage all over the top here. And then our next step here is we're going to crack eggs onto the top of this. Now, fun cooking fact, don't tap your eggs on the side of your countertop. That can push shells into your eggs. You don't want to do that. You want to tap them just like this, flat on the counter, and then crack them in whatever you're doing. That way you don't get shells in your eggs. So just a couple flat taps and boom. We're gonna make sure that doesn't run off the side of our pizza here. And then we're gonna get ready to pop this in the oven. But give me a second, I'm gonna go wash my hands and we're gonna make our second pizza. So we've got our artisanally shaped pizza here. And while I'm getting this one together, I got some facts and jokes for you. Finn's shape-shifting dog brother, which is such a fun phrase to say, is actually voiced by Joe DiMaggio. You may know him as the voice of Bender from Futurama, Jerry Jumbo Jr. in Zootopia, as well as Mr. Freeze, Black Adam, Aquaman, and other characters from Batman the Brave and the Bold. Also, the first frozen pizza ever was in 1962 from a company called Totino's. It was originally Totino's Italian Kitchen, and they invented the frozen pizza in 1962. It went so well, Pillsbury bought the company in 1975. And according to that fact, technology peaked in 1962. There's a movie Easter egg that will die hard for you. The longest pizza delivery ever took place in 2001, when the Russian Space Agency paid more than $1 million to deliver a 6-inch pizza to the International Space Station. Russian cosmonaut Yuri Usachov had the honor of being the first person to receive a pizza delivery while in orbit. And speaking of space, every year the Peep Company makes enough Peeps to circle the world twice. All right, we're gonna finish getting all our cheese on top here. And since we got some extra cheese, this one's just gonna be extra cheesy. If you're lactose intolerant, you're not eating this one. Now we're gonna throw our sausage on here. And again, I'm not worried about cross-contamination because once I finish this, I'm gonna go wash my hands. The reason we wore the gloves earlier is because I had to touch other ingredients right after cutting the sausage. And again, this was a 12-ounce package of sausage, and we used 6 ounces per side. So we've got our sausage on there, and now our eggs. And again, we're not gonna crack on the edge, we're gonna crack on the flat top of our cooking surface. Now these are ready to hop in the oven. We're gonna put them in there for about 10 to 12 minutes, again at 450 degrees Fahrenheit. And we'll see you in just a few minutes once our pizza's ready to eat. Thank you. The name Easter likely derives from the word Yoster or Ostara, an Anglo-Saxon goddess of spring and dawn, whose feast was celebrated around the vernal equinox. So while the pizzas are baking, your mouths are watering, chew on this fact. Easter candy sales in the US exceed $5 billion annually, making it one of the top candy buying holidays. Approximately 120 million pounds of candy are purchased, including roughly 90 million chocolate bunnies and 16 billion jelly beans. 76% of Americans think the ears of a chocolate bunny should be the first to be eaten. I start with the face and a nice Chianti. Hopping around the Easter tree at the Easter party hop. Green grass hung where you can see every couple tries to hop. I know, I gotta stop mixing up holiday song lyrics, John, sorry. Easter was once banned in England by the late Middle Ages. Easter was marked by elaborate religious services and was also one of the few times each year that a person would receive communion. In England, many of these ceremonies were targeted by Puritans and Protestant religious reformers during the Reformation, who gained power after the Civil War in the mid-17th century. They took radical religious reform to the next level. In 1647, Parliament abolished Easter and all other holidays. Easter Sunday became just an ordinary Sunday. In 1660, Charles II, aka the Merry Monarch, was restored to the throne, and Easter Sunday festivities returned to the calendar of the Church of England. So no, when you think of pizza, you think Italian, but the origins of pizza goes back to the Greeks and Egyptians. They cooked a pizza-like flatbread and topped it with olive oil and spices. The modern pizza as we know it comes from Naples, Italy, when tomato was added in the late 18th century, making it an affordable meal for low-income families, before becoming a global dish. Over 5 billion pizzas are now annually sold worldwide annually, and 93% of Americans eat at least one a month. Key facts include October being National Pizza Month and Hawaiian pizza, ham and pineapple, being created in Canada. Cool fact, eh? Another fun fact for you. Carrots were originally likely to be white, purple, red, and yellow. Carrots became orange primarily through Dutch selective breeding in the 17th century, likely by crossing pale yellow and red varieties to create a sweeter, more palatable root. The new color gained popularity and served as a tribute to William of Orange and the Dutch independence struggle. Different color carrots also have different flavor profiles. White carrots are mild or sweet, sometimes apple-like. Yellow carrots are sweet with earthy, fruity undertones, while red carrots are sweet with moderate, earthy tones. And finally, purple carrots can be earthy, fruity, or sweet with a peppery note. By the way, what did the rabbit say to the carrot? It's been nice gnawing you. So with our pizzas done and cooled, we've sliced one of them here. Now I did just get them out of the oven when I sliced this one. They're not quite cool enough for me to take a bite of yet because I don't want to burn my mouth and say a lot of bad words in front of y'all, which I would not try to do, but you know, it is hot. But wow, cow, chow, these look really good and I can't wait to dive into them. We hope you've enjoyed this month's The Story of Flavor. Thank you again for joining us. We hope you have a hoppy and safe month. And one last joke for you. You know there used to be an Easter duck? He got fired for the rabbit because he kept quacking all the eggs. Have a good day.